Welcome into my studio. My name is Jerry White. I'm a filmmaker and educator, and I've been doing this for over 15 years, teaching filmmakers just like yourself how to make their first film. And today we're going to use the free version of WeVideo so you can edit for free. You have a film, you want to practice, let's do it. So we're going to jump in today into WeVideo, and this is how the actual outlay of everything works. So you're going to see your home, templates, projects, uploads, exports, and create. We're going to start with create because we need to start a project from scratch. So we're going to create, and it's going to open up this window. If you've never edited before, I'm going to use a little bit of time here. If you have edited before, maybe one of the more advanced tutorials and programs will be for you. But this is for, a student, maybe a middle schooler or a high schooler that you want to edit on your phone or you want to edit on your computer, and you don't have a fast computer. This is a perfect option. I do this with my students a lot when you're working on a Chromebook, things like that. You have to have an internet connection, so just keep that in mind. But what we're going to do is we're going to upload some media. If you've watched any of my other videos, a couple of weeks ago, I wrote a short film in real time, and I edited that, and today I'm going to try to edit it in WeVideo, so it'll be a little bit different, but I want to see what happens whenever I try to put it into a different thing. Does it change anything? Does it change my approach? So we're going to add some media. We're going to click on Add Media and Upload. And so you can connect this to everything, to your Google Drive, to your Box, your OneDrive, Google Slides, PowerPoints. I'm going to use actual footage that I filmed on a phone, and we're going to upload it really quick. So we're going to browse to select, and then I'm going to come in here into my edit, into my experimental film, and I'm going to find where those clips were. So it's in this small edit folder, and I'm going to click, I'm going to hold shift, and I'm going to hold the last one, and I'm going to import. There's only going to be 4 clips today. So we have a wide shot, a medium shot, a low angle, and a close-up. If you don't know what those are, we'll go through them together as we figure out what you're trying to edit. You're going to see that they're doing some importing here. So this does work on a web browser, so you have to give it a second. It has to upload the footage and actually be able to ingest it before you can work with it. Another couple things to keep in mind, if you're using the free one, this is really only for practice because it's going to watermark it with the WeVideo. You can buy things. I'm not sponsored by that. You can download DaVinci Resolve for free. There's a tutorial as well. I'll drop a link right here. You'll see it pop up on your screen, but you can go through all these in different programs. Remember, the editor is just a program, just a tool to help you out with what you're working on. So now that we're in here and these are ingested, what we're going to be able to do is go down here and actually start editing. We have text, video, and audio. You can add more tracks, so if you have more than one piece of video, you can add that. As we go through, we're going to be able to use transitions, audio effects, things like that. We're going to see if I can make a similar edit to what I did in DaVinci. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but we're going to try it. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to drag this down, and here is my clip. So now if I come in here, you'll see that it's watermarked. That's okay. We're practicing today, so we don't really care. So I can press play, and it's playing through this. You might see that the resolution's a little bit lower than you're used to, and that's fine because you're running it through a web browser. So it is kind of slowing it down a little bit so you can play it in a little bit more real time. So here we go. And now I have this close-up of my hands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another video track, and I'm going to move this down because let me see. Can I move this down? All right, I added another video track, and so I'm going to change this to video 2, and I'm going to change this to graphics. I say graphics is GFX. You could put it in the real spelling if you'd like. But now, say I only want part of this clip. I'm going to double click on it. And now I can see it's playing here. So I can go through here and see what I have. So I'm going to bring this down onto the timeline here, and I'm going to cut out a piece. And so for me to cut out a piece, maybe I don't want this amount, so I'm going to drag this over. And then maybe I want to cut it a little closer down here at the end. I can also use this button that says split, and it's going to cut wherever the playhead is. The playhead is this blue dot right here. So that's going to be the same on every kind of editor that you're using, so that's called a playhead. I'm going to delete the end of this. I'm going to move it over, and I still want to make this shorter, so I'm going to take this down, and you can see that it's changing the timeline. So 23 seconds, 27 seconds, and it's telling you where the clip is beginning at. So you'll see here, in between 20 and 30, it's starting at like 28:05. So those last 2 numbers are the amount of frames. The next one is the seconds. The next one is the minutes. Those are called time code. So you might have heard that before when you're looking at how to make a movie. Time code is a way that we reference things inside of our footage. So now I'm going to bring this over here, and I can press play. I walk in, and I think I'm going to start right there. I don't want to have the walk in, so I'm going to press that split. I'm going to click on the video. I'm going to press delete, and I'm going to move these 2 clips over. So now I have a shot. I'm going from this kind of medium wide of my office. I'm typing, and right there seems about right for my hands. So I'm going to move this over. And so I have it right here, and I'm cutting to my hands. I'm typing, I'm typing, I'm typing, and I want to stop right there. So now I'm going to cut back out. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I have a couple of sound effects. So I'm going to add in some sound effects here. I'm going to go to Upload. I'm going to go to Browse to Select. And I'm going to go back into my sound effects folder here, and I'm going to bring all of these in. These are just sound effects that I put together on my phone. So you'll see a jackhammer, some wind chimes, bees in a backyard. BZ is my grandmother, that's her backyard, and then some cicadas. And so what I want to do is whenever me, the man, looks at the door, I want to put in some jackhammers. So I'm going to bring the jackhammers down here. And now you can start to see the jackhammers are making that sound in the back, and that's catching my attention. So I'm leading you into that. But what I want to do now is I want to be able to add a transition here. So I'm going to go to my transitions, and I'm just going to drag a crossfade onto here. And what that's going to do is slowly fade out of the music. So I'm going to do that. You could also come into here, and you could change all these things, show audio level. And so I could see what that is, and I could just bring it down overall here if I wanted to. So I have this, I'm playing it, and I have the sound effects, but it sounds like they're a little bit further away now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add another audio track. I'm going to add another audio track. I'm going to come down to here. So this is going to be sound effects, and this is going to be location sound. And so what this is going to be is just what I heard on the day when I was filming it. And so to do that, I'm going to go back into my uploads, and I'm going to grab just the sound of this backyard I hear. There were some birds and things like that, and so I want to play with that. You can also see here is where I was talking, saying what it was, so I'm going to cut that part out. And then I'm going to raise up the volume a little bit. So now I have this combination. You could hear a little glitch at the beginning. I'm going to take some of that. So now I have the sounds of the city. I have the sounds of these things. And now what if I want to do, if I want to bring this wind chime in here? Maybe I want to bring this in and try to get the sound of a wind chime. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another track. I'm going to add another audio track. And down here, and I'm going to call this, I'm just going to call it wind chimes. You can make it easier on yourself and label them exactly what they are. So I'm going to bring that down a little bit so it's a little quieter. And now I want the sound of the wind chimes with the music, or not with the music, but with the sound effects and everything else. So here we go. Okay, that's pretty loud, so I'm going to bring it down a little bit and see what happens. All right, so okay, we got something going on here. So now I have all these things in here, and I want to add a little bit of voiceover. I also recorded this on my voice memo of my phone, so you could do the exact same thing. So I'm going to go back into Uploads, and I'm going to go back into Add Media and Upload, and I'm going to go browse in that folder again. And this is just called New Recording 4. This was my voiceover. So now I can put it in here, and now I will have the actual voiceover that I have here. So it's importing that. And what I can do now is I'm going to take this in, and I'm going to make it one more audio track, and I'm going to call it voiceover. And now I'll be able to have my voiceover in there. So here we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out everything that isn't me talking so you don't hear the noise of the actual environment. So I don't want to hear the sound of the city street and all those kind of things. I already added in all those other elements into the room tone and the sound design. And so I'm going to bring this down a little bit, and let's see what we have. Okay, so it's a little quiet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the sound effects down, those jackhammers. So let's change that. Those were the jackhammers, so we know exactly what they were. And then I'm going to bring up the voiceover a little bit so it's a little louder. So this is called balancing and mixing your sound. And so you want to do that so everything sounds exactly how you want it. There are some legal requirements if you were sharing things over the air and things like that, but those are in a little bit more detail in different videos. So don't worry about that today. Just worry about getting your story across and what you're trying to communicate.
Sky was a little bluer than way less clouds than I had expected. For the noise, it was deafening.
And there it is. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try to cap this off and we're going to export it out and finish our film here. So mine is a little bit more detailed than this, but you're going to get the understanding and you can work. So let's go into our text. So now we have something in here. We could make our end graphic that we want. We could also go into Canva. You could hand draw something, anything like that. But what I'm going to do, just so I make sure that I have it in here, is I'm going to drop my text in here into my video, which will be, this is going to be my credits. And what I'm going to do is double click. And then right here, I'm going to go the end and then my name. So this would be your title of your movie, whatever it would be. So maybe it's called The Garage. Not a very good title, but we can work on it later. And my name would be Jerry White, and we would be done. So now we would have our whole film. So next thing we need to do is get this out of the program so we can watch it somewhere else. So let's do that now. And we're gonna go to export. So this says it has premium content. So I have a motion title in here that I was using that it's not gonna let me use. So what we'll do really quick is we'll change that out. So we're just gonna go to more of a sample title here. So we'll bring this down and then I'm gonna double click and I'm gonna go The Garage by Jerry White. I'm gonna go, why not? Let's go center aligned it. Let's make it a little wider. There we go. And put it back in the middle. And I don't really like that font, so maybe we try this font. There we go. So now it's done and we'll export it. So now we're in here, I'm gonna put The Garage. And usually what I do here is I put a date on it. So sometimes you might make 2 copies of this and we wanna know which one we have. So we're gonna go with today's date, which is 9/11/25. And then you'll see that right now it's going to let me out a working version here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to export it and I'm gonna export it as a file so I can have it. So let's go ahead and do that. So once you've downloaded and exported out your final film, you can watch it and you can share it with whoever you want. And so if you're looking for more detail on editing and those kind of things, or writing your own screenplay or making your own film, then check out my playlist, Free Film School, where you can see some of those other tutorials and hopefully it'll inspire you to make your own work. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for stopping by and best of luck with your project.
The sky was a little bluer that day. Way less clouds than I had expected. But the noise, it was deafening.